Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. This is the Superstars of Wrestling review for the December 12th, 1987 edition featuring Craig DeGeorge, easy for me to say, conducting an interview with Brutus Beefcake. Also includes the Honky Tonk Man music video from the Piledriver album, which is, I believe, soon to be released. The full album might be released the following week, something like that. Anyway, Demolition with Mr. Fuji defeats Jim Evans and Brady Boone in 2 minutes 8 seconds as Axe pins Evans with the decapitation device. And after the bout, Demolition throws Boone to the outside of the ring, hits the decapitation device on Evans a second time, and after the bout, Boone also attacks or attempts to make the save, but is beaten down. Billy Jack Haynes and Ken Patera make the run in there. So Patera and Haynes are at least intended to be the primary, I guess one could say, ultimate individuals who are, at a place with the with the none other than the run of Demolition to be the, I guess, team that gives them the major challenge, so to speak. Needless to say, one-sided match. Demolition obviously getting ready for their WrestleMania 4 win. Think about that, less than, 4.5 months from their win of the World Tag Team Champions and probably one of the better tag teams of the era at the time. Certainly I would take Demolition over most of the tag teams today, but anyhow, we continue to kind of go forward there, and Fuji kind of making things hard for his team in creating extra challenges there. A couple of drop kicks from Brady Boone, doesn't really get what he wants to get on it, and ultimately tries to get things going in a general direction that is in his best interest. Does not come together for him very well, though, at all. Brutus Beefcake basically promises that he is going to get Greg Valentine once and for all and take him out. Craig DeGeorge, kind of a weak interview here, but Beefcake and Valentine still going at it. Post their WrestleMania 3 Dream Team breakup and the subsequent 6 months or so, 7 months of Beefcake as a babyface. Hype for the Slammies, the 37th annual Slammies. Then we go to a Rick Rude match. Rick Rude with Bobby the Brain Heenan, of course, as his managerial assistant, and Rude really coming in here looking pretty strong as we go forward, although Rude would claim in later years he wasn't necessarily a fan of having Bobby Heenan as his managerial assistant at any level. Defeating Mike Richards via submission with a backbreaker in 1 minute 43 seconds. Backbreaker is a interesting move for Rude. Rude debuting probably maybe about 2 months earlier here, and ultimately a very basic run here. Mike Richards, a reasonable regular enhancement talent at the time. Then, Rude hits a couple of shots. The Rude Awakening becomes more of a thing early in 1988. Still haven't found that finish for him as a finish anyway. Jim Duggan up next, defeating Pete Sanchez, 213 with a running clothesline. Duggan back in less than 6-7 months after the snafu with the Sheik, so to speak. Obviously, he's not too terribly re-pushed after that, and Duggan never really fully recovers. There is an interview with Gene Okerlund where Jimmy Hart basically says that, yes, the Hart Foundation is very unhappy about Jim Neidhart says he never tapped out to the Boston Crab or quit to the Boston Crab, as applied by Rick Martel. Bret Hart really passionate about putting over the idea of the kind of things going forward. Hype for the Boston Garden as the Rock, as Honky Tonk Man and Randy Savage are featured in that one. As mentioned, Duggan and Sanchez, really basic match. Very punch kick from Jim Duggan. Jim Duggan, WWF 87, probably not the best part of his career, but probably the best money he made. Anyway, coming in with the 2x4 and the American flag and kind of managing to get as much of a good run as he can. 2 minutes 13 seconds clothesline, the leaping clothesline, probably the biggest thing. Hype for the WWF magazine as well here. Randy Savage says that he doesn't know what to head for 1988 and 1987 is not over yet. Not really giving much hint that he's going to go for the World Championship, but that's what ends up coming for the good old Macho Man here. And ultimately, that is a very good thing for the Macho Man. Then we go to another hype commercial for the Slammies, as it were. Then we kind of go even deeper into that a little bit. Greg the Hammer Valentine up next. Greg Valentine in a somewhat competitive match with his opponent for the day. His opponent for the day being none other than let's see here. The nature that is, I believe Scott Casey here. Yeah, defeats Scott Casey 3 minutes 35 seconds. Valentine spends the majority of time working over the legs of Casey. Casey had been on the Survivor Series team less than 2-3, or actually less than a month before. Casey exiting out of the WWF right around this time here. Actually, no, that's 1988, so he's got about a year left, but Scott Casey not really hitting it with a strong stride there. Then we go to the Ultimate Warrior defeating Dusty Wolf, aka Dale Wolf, with the Gorilla Press Slam Warrior here in 1987, end of 1987. Not in the midst of his big push quite yet, but getting ready for it, and a very one-sided deal there. Warrior nearly loses Wolf with the Press Slam, but gets a good crowd reaction, and Vince McMahon probably is salivating at the thought of what he could do with this man here. By any stretch of the imagination, one would make that assumption pretty clear. Really basic maneuvers. Then the Islanders out next, Tama and Haku. Bobby Heenan, of course, their manager. Interesting that nearly every heel has a manager here. Also, before we get there, though, Hulk Hogan basically says that he will make an announcement next week what he's going to do about the threats of Ted DiBiase, as it were. And before we get there, though, Scott Colton and the One Man Gang. One Man Gang coming in a few months before, something like that. Gang coming off of, I believe, World Class Championship Wrestling. By the way, if you haven't checked out our World Class series, 300 plus audios there. Gang snaps his man off the ropes. Really basic maneuvers. Gang also with the front fall suplex and a victory there. Various heels, including Jimmy Hart, claiming that Greg Valentine and the Honky Tonk Man should get an opportunity at Hulk Hogan's championship before he sells it. Slick basically saying it's unfair if he sells it to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and that the natural Butch Reed should get his shot as well, and the One Man Gang should as well. Mr. Fuji says that he understands that Hulk Hogan's all about the money, and that's the way that goes. Then again, as mentioned, the Islanders out next to basically close the show. Super one-sided match. And Jerry Allen is one of the enhancement talents here. Bobby Heenan happy with the decision. Hard headbutt by Haku. And ultimately getting a victory. Second promo for Randy Savage. Says he wants to get his hands on the Honky Tonk Man. Says he wants to lay him out as we enter 1988. Their feud had been going for quite a while by this point. And Savage also kind of hinting that bigger and better things are coming for him in 1988. How right he would be. Then we're going to go back to the drawing board. We'll be back with more right after this.